For the last many days, we've been highlighting the terrible civic apathy in Chennai, the fact that the monsoon has hit and there's zero preparation on ground, evident in the ground reports that we've been showing you. And now, what we feared has happened. A 2-year-old has lost her life in Chennai, falling into a plot that was filled with water, and there was no attempt to pump out the water, seeing the death trap that it was. Let's get you all the latest updates in part 3 of India Today's reality check at Ground Zero in Chennai. And then we're going to be getting you eye-opening details of the kind of corruption that's led to Chennai sinking every monsoon. Part 3 of India Today's reality check on Chennai's monsoon preparedness.
This is the state of affairs outside Satyam Theatre. It looks like the government has carried out some kind of a hurried patchwork. This is just after one spell of rain how the tar has just begun peeling off of this road.
This is a road that is parallel to where Vijay stays, and unfortunately this is a condition. You can see the vehicles, how difficult it is for them to travel.
After we exposed how ill-prepared Chennai is for the monsoon, now a young life has also been snuffed out. A 2-year-old girl died after falling into a plot filled with rainwater.
There was a lot of waterlogging over here. The child has stepped out of her house, accidentally fallen inside this plot, which was completely waterlogged, then drowned, and then subsequently lost her life. In fact, I just want to show you the depth of this. If you can see that cow over there, it's almost fully submerged. That explains the depth of this water inundated vacant plot that we're talking about.
The Stalin government claimed it's fully prepared for the monsoon, but is now under fire for allowing Chennai's stormwater drainage system to collapse, despite all promises of preventing waterlogging. The BJP's attacked the DMK for what they call substandard road conditions.
They are talking about Singara Chennai, which means a clean Chennai, Singapore, Chennai like Singapore and all that. Hey, we don't want a city like Singapore. We at least want basic amenities, basic roads where people don't keep falling and getting into accidents. The number of road accidents is one of the highest in Tamil Nadu. The 24 hours of rain has exposed the reality of the Chennai corporation.
Second phase, third phase சொல்லி இன்னைக்கு அரதா நூற்றுக்கணக்கான கிலோமீட்டர் தூரத்திற்கு மெட்ரோ ரயில் பாதை வேலைகள் நடக்குது. அதே மாதிரி இப்போ இங்க நம்ம மத்திய கைலாசாண்ட ஒரு பெரிய பாலம் படிகள் நடைபெற்றுக் கொண்டிருக்கிறது. இதெல்லாம் நடக்கிறப்ப ரோடு வந்து அங்கங்க கொஞ்சம் டேமேஜ் ஆக தான் செய்யும். ரெஸ்டோர் பண்றதுக்கு கொஞ்சம் முடிஞ்சாதான் வேலை செய்ய முடியும்.
And then there's the iconic Marina Beach, now filled with toxic foam as a result of chemicals being dumped in the ocean. A reminder of the civic mess in the city.
These are the foams that are now actually surrounding the beach. As we speak, there is more that is being pushed by the wave. Such way, when humans and authorities fail to keep a check on water pollution, nature gives us indication, and this is a very important indication of that kind. And you could see over there, the froth as we speak is still developing, building up, and it is actually dotting the entire Marina Beach coast at this spot.
Waterlogged roads, large craters, vehicles at risk, and a puddle that turned into a death trap. India Today's reality check has led to a city-wide campaign as citizens now are joining the call for better infra to deal with the monsoon. With Anaga Keshav and Pramod Madhav in Chennai, Bureau Report, India Today. Why is it that every monsoon we see the situation in Chennai with no lessons being learnt? Very often, fingers are pointed at unplanned development. But joining me here on Super 6 is Jairam Venkateshan, convener of Arapur Iyakam. It's a people-led movement for change, for ensuring that you see the change in society for a better living standard for people. And Jairam, thank you for your time. I want to first begin by talking to you about an expose that you've done about this very issue that we've been covering here on India Today, of the preparedness for the monsoon and the corruption that's led to the lack of preparedness essentially.
Yes, as we are getting into the monsoon, this week we had some heavy showers as well. And the preparedness has been from back to us, because what we are seeing today is that in fact what we have exposed today is that the government on one side, the government of Tamil Nadu on one side said that they are going to protect the marshlands. The marshland is a very important water source in the southern part of Chennai. Say Chennai, if the flooding that happens in the southern part of Chennai has to be arrested, we must ensure that Pallikaranai marshland is properly taken care of. It must be restored. So they had declared it as Ramsar in 2022. And there is very clear law in the country that no construction can happen within a Ramsar land. But in spite of that, to an extent of almost 15 acres for a real estate giant called Brigade, they have given a construction approval and environmental clearance within the Ramsar land. And by blatantly lying that this land abuts the Ramsar land instead of lying within the Ramsar land. So we have brought this out very clearly today. On one side, he was talking about protecting Ramsar lands, but on the other side, you are blatantly violating the law. And by violating, you have given approval for construction of 1,250 apartments within the Pallikaranai marshland Ramsar land. So this is going to create even more flooding in the southern part of Chennai.
No, but Jairam, help me understand this. I've lived in Sholinganallur, so I've seen it firsthand, the kind of flooding that happens every time it rains. It's quite simple, really. There's no place whatsoever for the water to drain, and that's because of unplanned development. At the end of the day, do you think that what we're seeing in Pallikaranai right now, and the example you're giving of this one particular construction that's happening on the marshland, it's happened for years together, and that's what's led to marshlands completely disappearing in many parts?
That's true. I mean, the Chennai Metropolitan Development Authority is primarily responsible for a planned development. They are responsible for urban planning. But unfortunately, what we are seeing is that time and again, there has been huge amount of constructions that has been happening in a haphazard manner within the marshlands and water bodies, and the complete apathy, lack of apathy that is there is what we are seeing, as a result of which we are seeing heavy flooding in the southern parts of Chennai. And what we are seeing is that even after seeing the flooding in 2015, even after seeing the flooding in 2023, even after a full bench of the Madras High Court sitting and saying that no part of the water body can be allocated for other purposes, and it is the responsibility of the state to restore whatever water bodies that are there. In spite of all this, the government has been going ahead with this unplanned development, with this entire concretization of the marshlands as well. So, and as a result of which we are seeing the kind of flooding. If you look at this place called Perumbakam, which you are talking about, the Sorinallur part, it is a place where there's a heavy bottleneck to flow towards the Pallikaranai marshland. And when there is already a big bottleneck and already people are facing floods year after year, now with such huge construction approvals, it is going to be even more in the future. So that is so they have not done. The government is saying, the Chief Minister is saying, we are ready for the monsoon. In fact, we are very worried as citizens. We are very worried. How is the government even saying this, that they are ready for the monsoon? Because people are very afraid about what is in store. By the end of October itself, we are seeing the 75% of our water bodies are full.
Correct.
So we are very worried about the lack of restoration of water bodies and other things that has happened.
But Jairam, the question that's constantly coming up here is, yes, there's a lot of frustration, a lot of disappointment. Nothing's been done on the ground. But when you look at this kind of corruption, it's as blatant as it gets, because it's right in front of everyone's eyes that they can see how marshlands are disappearing. Who's benefiting from this? Who benefits from this kind of corruption? Who's pocketing all of that money?
See, it is an open secret that when it comes to construction plan approval and the environmental clearance approval, crores of money is involved in terms of bribe. And over the years, we have also exposed many of these cases where we have even tracked how the money flows back to people at very high places. So therefore, even in this, if you look at it, it's not just the lower level officials who are involved. It is the officials, the public officials at the top. In fact, what we are demanding is the probe must be not only be restricted to the top level officials, but it should also be on the ministers. Because if you look at, for example, CMDA approval, it is not just the member secretary who gives the approval, it is also the circulation note is forwarded to the minister.
Yeah.
So therefore, the minister in charge of CMDA, the minister in charge of forest department, under whom the marshland comes, the minister in charge of environment, all these, when we talk about accountability, we should just not talk about accountability at the lower level, but we should fix the accountability at the topmost level. And that is what we need answers from. Now, question
Yeah.
is, let's say the chief minister says, I don't know about it. Now, today you know about it. So you should at least now take steps to cancel it
Agreed.
and restore the water body if you don't know about
No,
it.
I agree with you that, from top to bottom, there must be accountability. That's the only way we're going to see the change we want to in the city of Chennai, because things are already in a bad situation. I can't imagine what it'll look like getting worse right now.